So, yeah, if you guys haven't already, check out Garblu's Kickstarter. It's doing amazingly well. I still haven't edited up our live stream yet, but, like, you know, look, it's coming. And, honestly,
and so
but today, look, I thought, I saw this thread a while back, and I've been sitting on it for a long time, and I think it's an interesting topic, but I don't think it would make for just, like, you know, going through the thread and talking about it. I think this is more like a podcast or discussion video. So, like, you know, like, you guys seem to enjoy them, so, like, you know, why not? So, essentially, the idea of, in an alternative guide timeline, Gygax and Arneson invent D&D in 1974 Soviet Union instead of USA. How is the game different, and how does this affect the history of tabletop role-playing games? I don't think it happens, though, at all.
I mean, it's one of those things where if they did do it in Russia, it would be very Russian. Because, I was telling you earlier, I only know of one RPG game that was made in Russia. It's called The Age of Aquarius. And it was made in, like, 98 or some shit. And it's like absurdly Russian. So it's set in quote-unquote modern-day Russian in the 90s. Only with magic and all that, like magic and like spells, and I think like I forget what it was called, but like they're a branch of the KGB. Like it was and like it was like a section of the KGB or like a unit or something like that, something very Russian. And like you were sent out to like hunt down vampires and werewolves that the Americans are sending over to help like destabilize Russia. It's honestly, very
that sounds actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, actually,
yeah,
like
and
that
like
as a premise.
Like, I don't think the Russians have a mentality to play RPG games, or like do they even enjoy it?
No, they don't. I don't believe. See, this is the thing, right? So. This is one thing I find really interesting. So the Russian Orthodox Church does not appreciate They say imagination is evil, so they do, and they've actually got a good reason for that. Essentially, what it comes back to is, you know, that line from Dawn of War, an open mind is like a
gate unlocked and unbarred.
Yes, that's exactly what they believe. So therefore, they don't really like the idea of make-believe, if that makes any weird sense. And it actually does. It lines up perfectly with that quote, though, and I think that's like, why I don't
Russian
believe.
Doctrine, really.
Yeah, I just don't think it's possible for. The problem is, so when it comes to Russians, I find I think this is a bit of a stereotype. What is it about some of the most smartest human beings that have ever lived are Russians?
Russians
players seem to they just pump out mathematicians, physicists, all this like all the time, and then but they do. They produce some of the most amazing human beings that the world's ever seen, but also some of the worst. It's like there's such a divide. It's like, you know, you've got like the top peak, and then you got gopniks. You know what I mean? And there's not much in between when it comes to Russians.
Petrol-sniffing gopniks, yeah.
Yeah, like there's just not much in between, and again, that would lead me to believe that it would be way more number inducive. I don't think it would be very make-believe. I think it would be more of a simulator. I think
very
Russians
crunchy,
would go more
not a lot of like actual well, even then, like I don't even have any Russian viewers that came in and ask. I've
met a couple Russians.
You have? See,
oh, wait, no, I know one. I got one. I do know a Russian. He told me, because I spoke about him before, and he said, James, can you please stop talking to me about me online? So I was like, right, okay. But, okay, the guy's Russian, that's all I'm willing to say. He enjoys, what do you call that? Shadow of the Demon Lord. Like, he's obsessed with Shadow of the Demon Lord. So I don't really know what else to say about that, but he did ask me, it's like, James, can you please stop talking about me online? It's like, okay, it's cool, don't worry about it, which I suppose I'm blinking like
stop talking about me, bro. See, the only like somewhat Russian fans I have are like Kyrgyzstan or like Uzbekistan, all those stands that kind of ring around Russia. Like basically, they're all Mongols.
Like ex-Soviet, I would call them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them really Russian per se.
Ex-Soviet sounds more proper.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, because when you think about it, there are a lot of good like fantasy aspects that are there in Russia. And like imagine like a huge like tundra campaign where like you have like ice wendigos and shit. Like that'd be really cool to like build. You know what? I'll do it. I'll just do it myself with cat girls and hookers. I'll do it myself. Oh, God. But like,
I think you should, honestly. Like, when will we ever see? I think, what I was really thinking about doing. So, see, with the gas station after hours, I was thinking, like, the next part of that would be essentially a mix between an X and K simulator. And essentially what I was thinking of is, like, in the woods, everywhere you can think of. You know what I mean? Just
silo.
Russia. Yeah, the silo, anything, the underground. Like, I was thinking turning the gas station into something so much bigger. Like, what I've got in mind would be absolutely gigantic and huge, and honestly I think it would be a really cool supplement to do, and I think a lot of people would get a lot from it. But that's way in the future, you know what I mean? It was one of those ones that one of the guys was talking to me about it. I was like, man, we just did the gas station. I don't really want to just be like, yeah, let's do that just again, but make it bigger.
Here's
a
Russian gas station. Thank you for your patronage. Like, okay, cool, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But no, look, the Russians, I think. Well, look, a good example would maybe be Tetris. Tetris is one of the most popular games ever made. Yeah, it's Russian.
Russian?
Do you not know this? Yeah, do you not know the secret lore of Tetris?
No,
it's straight up Soviet.
Look, hot take. I hate Tetris. Like, I think it's a stupid game.
No,
I would rather languish
a game that I enjoy.
I would rather languish under Pog than frickin' Tetris or Pong. Sorry, Pong.
Pog's good as well. What are you talking about?
Boop. This is riveting gameplay.
Yeah, I don't know. I quite enjoy them. You know what I mean? As far as it goes, like when it comes to like mobile games, it's like, do you want to watch 50 billion ads while you're on the toilet? No, man, I really don't. Do you want to play 3 minutes of Tetris? Hell yeah. I don't know. But so where do you really go with this? I don't believe that the Russians are capable. Well, it's not that they're capable. I just believe if they were to do it, I don't think it would take off among the general public of the USSR. I don't think it would catch on, if I'll be honest with you. I think it would be very numbers inducive. I think the entire idea would be a very foreign... I get it. Okay,
like people man's RPG.
Well, I think that there's going to be a lot of people in the comments that are like, actually, Jeeves, the USSR was an atheist state. Yeah, but just because, like, they got religion for, like, a while doesn't mean, like... You can, like, look at the US. The US, I think, yeah, okay, it's becoming less and less Christian, but I think you could definitely argue that it's just as religious, if not more so. Like, look at political ideologies these days, you know what I mean?
Ah, yes,
like,
the cults, you mean?
I don't... yeah, the cults have definitely taken off, The
cults.
And I think, like, you need that. There's something in humans... And they just can't avoid it. They can't run away from it. So I don't know. I just don't see the idea of them. Can you radically change, like, deep-held beliefs in humans?
I think it'd be great to have a few Russians chime in because, like, after all the years I've been playing these games, I never actually heard of Russians like. Because they play like World of Warships and War Thunder. That's what they play a lot, and a lot of the shooters and video games. But I don't know what they play.
Yeah, they play video. It's Counter-Strike. That's what they play. They all play Counter-Strike.
Like,
that's
exactly do Russians
what
play
Russians
40K?
play.
Do they play like tabletop games? Like I'm not really sure if they even have. Is there like a Russian game store you can go to and like wait in line like the bread line to get
come to think of it, actually, no. Come to think of it, I actually did. I got a package. I sold a couple models to Russia a few years back. It was about it was sometime 2021, so it would have been about 2 years ago, sometime in there. I remember getting a package and sending some models off, and I thought that was unusual because I've never got any to Russia before. So if there's any Russians in the comments, please let us know.
That one single Russian like, ooh, I like the fantasy booby model, and you're like, yeah, got you back.
Yeah, don't worry, we got you sorted. But no, to work just off stereotypes, I think it would be very numbers inducive. I don't think it would catch on with the broader public. I think honestly, see, in the 1970s in USSR, you got so much else to deal with. You don't have
not
time.
a lot of free time to like just hang out with your friends. Usually, like if you want to hang out with your friends, you're usually drinking after you're off your freaking work shift. You're like, all right,
yeah,
you guys want to do anything? Everybody just get drunk and forget my woes. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and, you know, like, and that's sad. It really is that they don't.
Yeah,
because I don't want to make like baseless accusations of like, oh, they're all unimaginable barbarians. But like, I've never heard of Russians playing RPGs. Like, I never even heard a Russian accent playing RPG online. Like, it's just, I don't know.
So, I don't know if you know this, but we've got a website with lots of models. And whenever I say lots of models, I mean lots of models. We've got models for any setting that you can think of. With humans with biddies, animals that shouldn't have biddies but do have biddies, dwarves and elves with biddies. Look, we've got a lot of smut models. But it doesn't stop there. We really do have models for anything and everything. And to be honest, they look so good. Chef's kiss, so good. But it's not all smut for all you good Christian Minecraft server players. We've got you covered. And we even got the weebs covered too, which is unusual for this channel because we don't like weebs.
Yeah, the weebs aren't that bad, okay? They're just fun to laugh at.
We also have 5th edition subclasses and adventures, which some of them are free for download, and we sell a physical printed copy of Steel Water as well, and you can request a signed version if that's your thing, where I'll draw a penis on it for you.
If you want us to sign a couple of decks, we'll give you decks, okay, guys? That's what
anyway,
you want.
If you enjoy what we do here, go ahead and check out the website. It helps us out so much, and we don't need to worry about our YouTube overlord striking down another one of our channels. Our website is also now available as an app on Android. Also, and the winner of the daily giveaway is this guy! Yay! Woo!
Look, anyway, in for a chance to win, all you gotta do is like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, automatically entered in.
And to claim the prize, you just send an email to neckbeardiacontact@gmail.com. Let's get back to the video.
I think what you need is, for role-playing games to work, you require, I think, to some degree, a middle class. And I think you need a middle class for like hobbies in general. Does that make sense? You need to have free time and not so much money. And money's not the really important thing. It's
some
more
income,
the ability
just to fritter away on a picture book where you play like pretend.
Yeah, like
when
you need.
Well, when you really think about it,
you need to be like not starving. You need to be like not poverty stricken. Like there's no one in Africa. Like, you know,
I just fucking thought that. I just thought so. No RPGs in Africa then. Oh my god. Anyway, so it's just like probably Southern Africa because you know apartheid.
Oh yeah. But, well, one of my artists is South African. Come to think of it, so.
But like it's just one of those things. Like you need to like when you think about it, and you break down. You know, playing. People who have RPGs are privileged because you're playing pretend for fun in your free time. When you really want to break it down. Oh, you have time to just pretend to be a freaking elf every Friday. You don't have to like try and run down your food via hand or chop wood or draw water with a freaking like rusty bucket the UN gave you. You know,
essentially, it very is. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
you could say that. Being able to play or engaging in tabletop RPGs shows you're an advanced country. You're a first world country. You have the time to play pretend and be an orc on Saturday evenings. You know, because when you think about it, like
I think there's something to that.
Like in Middle Africa, not North, not South, Middle Africa. None of them are going to be playing a freaking tabletop RPG because A, culturally, and B, they don't have the time to do that. They're trying to like not die. You think about it,
or like they've just got other problems. They've just got so many other issues that I think you need to have peace.
It'll be like saying, why are these people who herd reindeer and live in frickin' reindeer shelter teepees not playing RPGs? Well, because they're trying to freeze to death and they have to constantly be on the move. They don't have time to play RPGs.
Yeah, that's why I always no, actually, never mind. I would get into issue if I went with that thought. Never mind. But yeah. I just don't think it would have been possible. And I think if it did come about, I think it would have been maybe something that came about in like a chess. I think it would just be chess. I think they would have remade chess. That's honestly what
chess
I believe.
with elves.
Yeah, if they could add characteristics to chess. Like, let's add more goals to the knight or the pawn. You know what I mean? Okay, so the pawn can move in this direction. But what if we added some other stats to it?
Magical powers or something like the...
Yeah, what... Well, I think, honestly, you know what it would be? I don't think they would have came up with role-playing games. They would have played war games, even though war games already existed.
I was wondering, like, do Russians play 40K or Legion, or, like, do they play war games? Because it seems like they'd be more inclined to play war games than, you know...
Yeah,
theater of
I
mind
would see
RPGs.
that.
But
I
it's
think
like,
I
don't
agree
know.
with that.
Like, I just don't know. Because
I feel like that's
no Russians talk to me. Like, I don't know. But at the same time, like, well, actually, in the 70s, would they even in the 70s would they have even allowed RPGs? Because that's considered excessive, isn't it?
There, actually, well, you know what? That's actually a good point. Would they have had RPGs? Because this would, like...
Comrade, you could be working right now.
Comrade, like, what are you doing spending all this time and energy not focusing on the state? You know what? Like, here, like, imagine the satanic panic, like, which I never got the whole satanic panic, because they could have just turned around. Yeah, well, they could have just turned around and just been like, well, the enemies are demons, so actually, like, you can paint it in a very Christian light. That's why I never got with the whole satanic panic. You just turn around and be like, yeah, no, we're straight up killing demons. It's pretty decent.
Like, I'm literally a paladin. You know what I mean? You're talking about. Like, I'm a warrior of God defeating demons. You don't like this? Well, nerd,
Like, yeah, like, why did no one come up with that or say that?
Was there a story you did where, like, I swear to God it was a green text, where, they allowed D&D at a church for, like, youth nights, but you can only play a cleric or a paladin, and that was it. I think I remember
there's
something like that or something.
Yes, I think I do remember that. We've done a couple of videos about this whole satanic panic, but this is where I think it would definitely go. I could see a satanic panic like movement, but instead you get shipped to the gulags for thoughts against the party. Like, what happens if, like, you see, this is the problem with role-playing games, is too much freedom in it. Do you want your citizens and your communist state to have freedoms and liberties and ideas and thoughts?
I guess in a way it does kind of buck against at the time the Soviet doctrine of, like, basically, like, well, same thing. Look how they treated, like, rock and roll and Coca-Cola and like,
it was black goods. They had it, but they didn't really want to.
Well, they weren't exactly. They weren't okay with it. But, like, at this time when D&D was made in America, it just wouldn't have survived in Russia. Free thinking, being creative. I mean, it's not exactly part of the Soviet protocol.
It's just not. And that's also one of the other big things as well. Actually, I'm going to be annoyed if I don't bring this up. Think of it like, this is a problem, like, you see this with Mai as well, so you do, where the whole idea of you have to destroy everything that came before. The only thing that exists is the state. So when it comes to, like, RPGs, you can't work off mythology, because mythology is evil. It's from the oppressor times. The only thing that matters is the state. That's the most important thing. So therefore, the idea of drawing from the Kievan, any form of Russian history is evil. It's wrongthink, So what would you? I suppose the only RPG that they could do is fighting the imperialist Russians or the imperialist Americans, maybe.
It'd be like
you know what? Would they just turn it into a propaganda tool? Would it just be?
I mean, more or less, it would. Yeah. Like, I suppose if you want to get down to it, the state would make an RPG book about glorifying the Soviet Union and, like, I don't know, fighting the Americans, or going back through, like, it'd probably be like a historical fantasy drama, really, with, like, maybe a little bit of magic sprinkled in.
I think it would be It would definitely be multiple choice, because I don't think you would be. You know what? It wouldn't be multiple choice. It would be just orders. It's like, it would be a book. That's exactly what it would be. It would just be a book, because they would tell you that's what happens. They just tell you exactly what happens. It's just a book from POV perspective. That's it. I honestly don't.
I'm just trying to figure out how the hell they would. I mean, technically, they are trying to do it here with D&D already. You just need to push a political agenda, and you can see how.
Oh yeah.
If you're a ham-fisted idiot, you can pretty much use these narratives to push a political opinion. The issue is they're doing it in America, and that doesn't really work all that well.
Yeah. Well, people are falling for it. That's the saddest thing about it. People are falling for it time and time again, and they just don't seem to be realizing what their goal is. I believe their goal is to just water it down. So, their complete goal is to just
not water it down, just make it boring.
Yeah, so you don't care anymore. You can say this about anything, like Lord of the Rings, any nerd fandom you can think of, that they've been trying to.
It's just not accessible. It's not accessible to everybody or equitable. But I actually looked it up. And apparently, the first official Russian language edition of D&D was released in 2018.
Oh, what's it actually? There you go.
So apparently, Soviet kids played Zarnista, a variation of Capture the Flag game with the possibility to hurt, not for real, opponents, capture spies, and interrogate them. Girls played this game as the field medics. I hated this game. Oh, so it's because of Russian. Okay, gotcha. So apparently, they played an actual RPG. Oh, this is like LARP camp, but you're being freedom fighters and trying to capture. Okay, so
well, what do you call that thing? Red Dawn? Is that?
No.
What do you call
apparently this game was you're doing it in real life, so it's like playing Capture the Flag, but you're role playing as different roles in an army and trying to.
So it's like Vampire then.
I guess.
Vampire LARP?
The kids even have fake AKs in the picture and shit, and field guns.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. Honestly, that sounds that's actually a lot better than what I ever expected we were going to get. I think that's
when you say that, but in the 90s we were beating the shit out of each other with sticks and stuff on purpose, in actual war. In my neighborhood, we had gang warfare against kids, and we called each other like clan names. We went pretty hardcore in the fantasy aspect, but we would literally take sticks and beat the absolute dog shit of each other wearing Nerf helmets and stuff. So it's this is basically a kid war game, but played out in real life, kind of Society of Creative Acronyms or some shit. SCA.
It's
yes, this is Russian SCA, where they're pretending to be a military unit and they're trying to capture a flag via violence. But I love how the girls can only play field medics.
Oh, poor girls, bro.
Not
quite equitable yet. No.
Russia is so bigoted; they can't let them play pretend war. Oh my god.
Anyway, what do you guys think? I think culturally, I just don't think it would have took off. I honestly do believe for a lot of hobbies and stuff to exist, I believe you need to have at least a strong middle class,
or the ability
you just don't that.
Start out with.
No, Garmer, that's how we get into bother. You can't, even if it is. I don't know. It's right to say that about Russians. I don't know. I haven't been reading the YouTube newsletter on who you can and cannot talk about these days.
Eliza, anyway. My Russian. I got Eliza, who's my Russian VA, and she's not exactly thrilled with Russia either. So I have no idea, dude.
Yeah, I would say so. I would honestly say so. But what do you guys think? How do you think? Do you think it would have taken off? Do you think because
Red Star Adventures?
What was Greyhawk? Greyhawk was essentially all the type of stuff that Gygax enjoyed. It was Robin Hood, it was Renaissance fair, it was his understanding or his fun. It's not historical, but he just wanted to have fun with the basic premise of the ideas of what people thought of. Yeah, and I just would the Russians have had that ability, to draw from these ideas? Would it have been alright? Well, they would have had a satanic instead of a satanic panic? It would have been the government panic,
a free thinking panic.
Yeah, exactly. Could this spread on? Could this spread more? It's interesting to think about, and I do think it's that it's worth talking about, but I just don't think either of us have the answers because we're just not Russian.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to because it would take Russian communities who like this stuff to like start building up the desire to want to play these games. Like, hey, Vasily, come play D&D with us. He's like, what the fuck is this? We'll have vodka. Sure, fine, I'll come. You know, like try and get the ball rolling, because it'd be like any other game where like I have no community here. I guess I'll do it myself. You gotta build it from the ground up. Except you're trying to build up an entire country from the ground up. And I assume like I would have to assume the big city centers have at least something like this, but I just Googled it and I didn't find shit, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. I also don't know.
I Googled Russian game stores and I got like one where they sell like government-approved board games and books. I'm like, oh my god, this is not great.
Yeah, there must be more to this. I don't know. I just feel like the Russian mentality.
Underground RPG parlors.
Yeah, but yeah, what do you guys think? Is there any? I mean, let's try and avoid the whole what's going on in Ukraine at the minute. Let's divorce ourselves from that reality and let's just try and focus on that aspect. You know what I mean? How would this play out? How do you think it would have played out? And again, like, you know, can you even imagine what it would have been like to live in Russia in
knowing the stories would be a hard fucking pass.
Because I think
I've read historical journals. No, thank you.
Yeah, honestly, like I love reading memoirs. I love reading
memoirs.
Two accounts. I love that type of stuff, and yeah, the stuff from Russia. They've got a really weird dry writing style.
Well, it's very.
But yeah, I wouldn't recommend.
It's very government. It's very like approved. Like there's no way to get in trouble with the writing. You know. You dare show emotion? To blood with you. Fuck, you know. Like,
no, not again. Not again.
Well, sadly, when you think about it, if you wrote the wrong thing, you went to the fucking gulag, man. Like, like if you spoke wrong or thought wrong, you go to gulag, and that's a hard rip to live with. So
yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. But look, anyway, I'm gonna pass the question off to you because I don't think me or Garbo really have the worldview, you know, we don't have the life experience of the life behind. Oh, here, you know what, actually, before we finish up, I'm going to tell you guys some secret lore. So Megan's dad was in the army, right, in the 80s, and he was in Germany whenever the Berlin Wall came down, and he got himself a bit of, he took a bit of rubble with him from the wall, and he had it for a good few years. And Megan's mum threw it in the bin. She didn't know what it was.
Oh,
she thought it was just rubbish.
What's this goddamn piece of brick? Off to the trash you go. Mom, my brick.
I mean, it was just a brick. Like, you know, but it's still pretty cool. It genuinely is one of the biggest. Like, you know, I would argue it is one of the biggest things to have ever happened in the 20th century, which is saying a lot because a lot of things happened last century, but so there you go. No brick. Sadly, no brick. Well, it wasn't a brick, it was more like a bit of concrete, you know what I mean? But still, I thought it was kind of funny that she just chucked it in the bin. It's like, no, imagine like getting a bit of the pyramid or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like the Great Wall of China.
What's this weird brick? Trash can. Like, babe, we threw away history.
Not again. Anyway, look, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let us know what you think. I feel like this was a very big green topic for me and Garblo. So it's something a bit different, and I like the idea and I like the topic, but I don't know if we give it justice.
It would require like finding a Russian and bringing them on to the stream. Like, hey, explain this shit to us, please, because we don't know. We just don't know anything about it. Also, check out Garblu's Kickstarter. How far you're coming up on 10,000? We are
not far off.
Oh, we're over halfway to $9,000.
Oh, let me get it up here. Let's see.
Yeah, like it's pretty baller. Like I threw shade at Wizards of the Coast on Twitter.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, because actually, so basically, I actually asked them, like, I not asked them, I put in an interview request for a job, and they told me, no, you're a nobody. And I'm like,
well, look, you know, there's no harm. Even then, I think Garbo, you'd get fired.
I'll get fired. Yeah.
You would get fired.
I was like one off-color comment. He's right wing. Yes.
No, you would get into a mega argument in the cafeteria the first day. I can just see it. I can imagine it. I already know what would happen. You know, you would go into look. Anyway, like this video is not about nerd, about wizards. For God's sake, please, wizards, get out of my head. Look, I hope you guys enjoy
in my walls. They're in my walls.